During this tape, I'm going to talk about how to judge the hunter under saddle class. I will begin by discussing the specifics on what to look for, and then a sample class will be shown for you to practice judging, after which I will give a critique and an official placing for that class. The hunter under saddle class is designed to evaluate the hunter type horse that has worked on the rail. The ideal hunter under saddle horse is one that could be ridden in the country, following hounds on a fox hunt, and maneuver itself over any obstacle. This type of horse should appear suitable to purpose in both conformation and stride length, and should have the potential to work over fences. But for this class is only asked to work on the flat. Horses are worked at the walk, trot, and canter, both directions of the ring, and should be able to back easily and stand quietly. At the judge's discretion, the horses may be asked to extend the trot or to hand gallop, and pull to a halt from the hand gallop and stand quietly. There are 5 major factors considered in evaluating hunter under saddle horses. These are functional correctness, attitude, quality of movement, headset and head carriage, and manners. A functionally correct hunter under saddle horse should be able to pick up and maintain the correct lead, maintain the proper gait, travel with the body straight when going down the rail, and look straight through the bridle. This horse should perform smooth, prompt gait transitions and should back up straight and willingly to the rider. A hunter under saddle horse demonstrating a desirable attitude would show the following characteristics. The horse should appear broke, being consistent and steady in its speed and length of stride. A judge should consider the size and frame of each individual horse relative to the horse's speed and length of stride. This is an example of a horse with a steady rate of speed and length of stride. The hunter under saddle horse should work in a relaxed, calm manner, yet continue to be alert and attentive in appearance. This horse should be ridden with light contact of the reins. The hunter under saddle horse should appear responsive and obedient to the rider's commands and cues. This horse is very smooth and obedient in the upward transitions to the trot, and is working with a very bright and relaxed expression. The hunter under saddle horse should travel with a long, loose appearing stride, showing freedom of movement from the shoulder and hip. The feet should remain relatively low to the ground, hitting the ground softly while traveling at an appropriate speed. Excessive speed at any gait should be penalized. This horse is working at a desirable rate of speed and exhibiting good freedom of motion. The horse should travel in a balanced manner, with the length of stride in front and rear being approximately the same. Each front and rear leg should travel the same distance as the opposite front or rear leg, giving the appearance of a symmetric length of stride. This horse travels balanced, with an equal length of stride in front and rear, and symmetric, with the right and left leg traveling the same distance in one stride. The horse should travel collected, demonstrating drive from the hind leg by reaching far underneath the body with the hind leg. This horse exemplifies an extremely collected mover, with the tremendous reach of the hind leg underneath the body at both the trot and the canter. Also, the hunter under saddle horse should work at a rhythmic, flat-footed, 4-beat walk, a ground covering, cadence 2-beat trot, and a smooth, free-moving, deliberate 3-beat canter. Using this slow motion, notice the footfall pattern is the right front, left rear, left front, and finally the right rear. This horse travels at a very free, flat-footed, 4-beat walk. From viewing this slow motion of the trot, it can be seen that each pair of diagonal legs moves at the same time, representing 1 beat in the stride. This horse works at a distinct and deliberate 2-beat trot. At the canter, the 3 beats begin with the right rear, followed by the diagonal pair of right front and left rear, and ending with the left front. This is an example of a rhythmic and distinct 3-beat canter. The extended trot and hand gallop should only exhibit a lengthening of stride with no change in speed. The horse should travel distinct and cadenced in all gaits with a fluid motion, giving the appearance of a smooth, comfortable ride. Head set refers to the amount of flexion at the pole and should appear natural. The head set can range from vertical to about 30 degrees out forward from the vertical and should always appear steady and consistent throughout all gaits. A horse should be penalized for carrying the head behind the vertical, for failure to show adequate flexion to the pole, and for having excessive movement of the head. Head carriage refers to the height which the head and neck are carried, and should also appear natural. The top of the neck should appear relatively flat or straight, and ideally should range from parallel to the ground to 3 to 4 inches above the parallel. Anything below the parallel or more than 4 inches above the parallel is unacceptable. The head carriage should also be steady and consistent throughout all gaits. At this time, I feel it is very important to note that some slight variations in the preferable position for head carriage and head set and the desired amount of knee and hock action varies from breed to breed. It is critical that a judge consult the appropriate rule book prior to judging to familiarize himself with the differences from what I've discussed here. The primary considerations when evaluating a horse's mannerisms includes the horse being still and quiet with their mouth, tail, and ears giving the appearance of a pleasant, positive attitude, as opposed to a horse mouthing the bit, pinning or laying the ears, or ringing, popping, or swishing the tail excessively. In summation, the hunter under saddle horse must fulfill the requirements of the class by being functionally correct and should perform in a consistent, relaxed attitude, traveling at an appropriate speed with light contact from the rider, demonstrating a willingness to respond to the rider's cues. Also, the hunter under saddle horse should exhibit a high quality of movement and work with a consistent and desirable head set and head carriage, in addition to being well mannered. Normally, in judging a live class, you would evaluate all 4 horses simultaneously. On this videotape, each horse is shown performing individually. It is very important to remember that each horse must be compared to the others in the class to evaluate the class effectively and to derive an accurate placing. Now let's apply what we've just learned to evaluate the following class of hunter under saddle horses. This class of hunter under saddle should be placed 3-2-4-1 with cuts of 3, 4, and 2. This class of hunter under saddle can be divided into a fairly close top and bottom pair, starting the class with 2 high-quality moving and consistent working horses, and ending the class with 2 horses that worked with less collection and consistency. In the top pair, 3/2, 3 had a steadier headset with more flexion at the pole and a flatter top line than 2. 3 was a more desirable moving horse, exhibiting greater extension of the knee and working with more balance of stride length and greater symmetry behind while working at the trot. Additionally, 3 backed straighter and with more flexion of the pole than 2. 2 was also a high-quality moving horse and worked with a brighter, more alert expression of the ears and was quieter with the tail than 3. And 2 traveled with a longer stride at the canter. In the middle pair, 2/4, 2 showed a more attentive and pleasant attitude and worked in a more relaxed fashion, traveling at a slower, more desirable pace at the canter. 2 was flatter and more collected at the trot, was more cadenced at the canter, and traveled with a lower head carriage. Also, 2 was smoother in the upward transitions into the canter than 4. In the bottom pair, 4/1, 4 was bolder moving with a greater length of stride and worked with more responsiveness to the rider, especially at the trot to the right. I would grant that 1 worked with a lower head carriage at the canter and traveled at a slower, more preferable pace at the canter. 1 also was shown with a more desirable amount of contact on the reins and backed more quickly. I would criticize 1 and place 1 last for showing resistance to the rider, being short-strided, and for being inconsistent with the head position. This class of hunter under saddle should be placed 3-2-4-1 with cuts of 3, 4, and 2.